Okay, let's do it.
Welcome to Commercial Real Estate Today. Happy that you're with us. Got a good friend here today. You're going to enjoy him. Younger than most of our guests, not to say that has anything to do with experience and capabilities. Will Harding. Will, welcome to the program.
Hey, Wally, thanks for having me. I appreciate you inviting me out here.
So I got a question for you. You've had a really interesting background in your life. What did you learn as an intern for Congressman Anderson Crenshaw? What a great opportunity.
It was an incredible opportunity to go up to Capitol Hill, see how things work. I was there in, I think, the summer of 2013, if memory serves. What I learned very quickly is that I did not want to pursue politics as a career. So one of those fun early experiences, just say, you know what, I've seen it, I'll do something else.
They say that if you watch them make sausage, you'll never eat it again.
I mean, you know, it's fun to read about, watch, maybe vote once in a while, but no, not a.
What was the hot issue in 2013? What was driving Congressman Crenshaw and the people crazy?
Oh, everything.
Everything.
You know.
That was his problem. He couldn't focus. He needed to pick one thing. Might have got something done.
Well, you know, if we were just always right all the time, you know, it'd be so simple.
As opposed to left.
Well, yeah, I mean, right? I don't know about that, but just.
Excellent.
It was simple enough for one right answer.
Stetson University, finance kind of guy. You know numbers. I have an experience in my life or an observation. Tell me how you feel about this. As you know, we have our commercial company, Monument Commercial, and then we also have a residential company, HomePro. Commercial agents tend to speak in numbers. Residential agents tend to speak in adjectives.
Sure. I mean,
when you ask a question about an industrial property, a business property, you're going to get generally a numerical answer. What's the car count? What's the square footage? What's the cap rate? It's numbers. Nobody asks you what color the bathroom is or anything like that. There are no adjectives.
We solve problems, residential and commercial, and the problems are different. It's not just what your lifestyle what you want your lifestyle to be at home. It's what does your business need to thrive out of its real estate. Whether that means a specific clear height on your building, or maybe
that would be a number, a specific clear height. You made my case.
They do tend to be quantifiable.
There you go.
We solve problems. That's all we do.
Excellent. I like that a lot. One of the problems I had when I was a young kid is in elementary school, you get in a little tussle and a kid tries to hold you down, give you a noogie or something like that. Yep. How did your martial arts training as a young guy help you, make you maybe resilient in the commercial real estate world?
There's always problems. There's always things to look for solutions. When you take the opportunity to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or something like that, it's a chance to recognize problems that are immediately on top of you and choking you.
Like I can't breathe.
Everything else in life just seems a little less urgent after that. So it's great for stress relief.
Yeah. I may have shared with you when we spoke previously about the origin of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Hickson Gracie, his book Breathe.
Book is sitting on my bedside table. I ordered it just because of you. I have not yet read it, so don't put in too many spoilers here.
I won't ruin it for you, but I would like to share how amazing it is with others. The book Breathe, Hickson Gracie, founder, well, actually it was his uncles that founded Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. They were breeding competitive fighters.
It worked.
Hickson's father and uncle had a stable of women that they would choose based on their strength and their veracity, and they bred fighters.
The Gracie name is synonymous with jiu-jitsu. Maybe it worked.
The book is Breathe. Don't want to miss out on that. What are the feds doing to us, Will? What in the world is going to happen? I'm seeing lots of numbers moving around. Lots of things look scary. What's that going to do to us if I'm a commercial investor? I'm looking to sell my property. I'm looking to expand my business.
Take a deep breath. It's going to be okay.
Breathe. That's what Hickson Gracie said. Just breathe.
So there's going to be a market today. There's going to be a market tomorrow. There's going to be a market the day afterwards. There are always going to be reasons to buy and sell real estate and people who need to transact. Realistically, this is kind of a reversal of a long-standing trend, and it's what the Fed is expected to do. Their job is to manage inflation and guarantee full employment.
How's that working out?
Well, it's two completely opposing objectives, and it's a decision they have to make every day. So whatever they do over the next few months, they've given strong guidance that interest rates are going to rise. There are going to be effects on the commercial real estate market, and we're just going to ride through them and see where things go. realistically, we may see a slight reduction in prices as interest rates do take a bite out of earnings, and some buyers are really able to pay. But I don't anticipate this to be any kind of credit or liquidity.
You see, in a local sense, or at least a regional sense, Jacksonville and the surrounds, do you see a particular commercial segment that stands to weather this the best, or a segment most vulnerable?
So for two different areas, right? For inflation, the best properties to weather inflation are going to be hotels, apartments, and self-storage, actually. These are very short-term leases that are in place, and it allows you to readjust income levels quickly on a daily or even annual rate. So that lets you refocus and reset. Longer term, the general commercial types like office, industrial, retail tend to have longer lease terms. But there are ways around that. A lot of landlords are switching to CPI indexed leases, things that will help weather any kind of uncertainty.
Spread the risk between both parties.
Yes, and that's all they're designed to do.
You surprised me when you said hotel. I was with you immediately in understanding that flexibility in the market with storage space, but hotels always strike me as vulnerable, where yes, on a daily basis.
I am of all the properties out there, I'm the least knowledgeable in hotels. But similar to self-storage, you own the property. An operator actually has the flexibility to make that daily rate
But the
adjustment.
lease between those two doesn't typically have the flex as the daily rate does for the operator to the consumer.
No, so the landlord gets to keep that, and the operator keeps a percentage of that for both self-storage and hotels. So really, the landlord and operator both benefit from that daily adjustment.
Excellent.
So for interest rates, though, it will mean that it'll be a little more expensive to get debt, and
is cash more valuable, do you think, in the next group of months than it's been in the previous months?
Well, if anything, less valuable at the current rate of inflation.
But if I have a big pile of it and I'm negotiating, is that an advantage at this point or not so much?
I'm going to hit you with the old quote from, I think, Yogi Berra, "A nickel ain't worth a dime no more." So I suppose it depends on how big the pile of cash is. Okay. There is a lot of dry powder sitting out on the sidelines and looking for opportunities. It's been there since at least 2017. So
that's really where I was going with that. I'm fortunate I get to have a lot of interesting conversations with a very diverse group of people, and that cash on the sidelines, I've been hearing this for years, even, as you say, 3 to 5 years at least, watching some movements in the market, COVID being one of those movements, and the cash seems still to be sitting. I don't know what to think of that.
Well, we'll see what happens when the opportunities come up. I do think, though, that if there's that much cash sitting on the sidelines, it does remove the lack of demand from buyers part of the equation, which means, if anything, if there's a downturn or a slight reduction in prices, it's, to me, likely to be very gentle instead of a shock or a period of reset like the 2008 crash.
Yeah. Share with me your thoughts on the pros and cons of being a player in a large national significant firm as opposed to a small niche local firm, and I'm the consumer in this regard, right? I'm looking for 1 million square feet of warehouse, and I'm shopping brokers. I'm new to the market. Make the case for the large. Make the case for the small company.
It really depends on the needs of the client. Sometimes there are going to be highly specialized industries that are not well understood by most people, where a very specialized, knowledgeable broker can provide that boutique service and get someone what they need, or make that process as painless as possible. Other times, big national firms do one thing really, really well, which is the case with my firm, what we do when it comes to investment sales and financing. We do nothing else, and that gives us a lot more depth and ability to penetrate the market on behalf of our clients. With some of the largest full-service firms, really they're dealing with corporate clients, very large institutional companies who have so much real estate, and there's so much complexity to what they need. It's difficult for anyone else to be able to service that and just stay on top of what happens here and there.
Right, having a single point in multiple states and things of that sort.
So it translates it translates well for the needs to just go very broad focused, one point of contact to the company's needs.
How or when did you make the decision as a young guy, getting out of Stetson, there you are ready to go, spent a little time up in Andrew Crenshaw's office, and one day the light bulb went on and said, commercial real estate.
Yeah.
What caused that?
It goes back to Stetson, actually. I had a wonderful mentor who was a former Stetson alumnus. He graduated back in, I think, 89, gone through banking in Central Florida, and was running the local office for a large national REIT. And he had for years had a small internship available preferred for Stetson students to just get exposed to the real estate industry. I got in, I learned what a triple net lease was, and how very large REITs manage properties on behalf of their investors. Said this is interesting. I think this is for me. And it's just been a fun 5 or even 6 years now, learning other aspects of the commercial real estate business and really finding a place in it.
That's exciting.
It is.
What do you see next for you? You project out 5 years, 10 years down the road. How do you see your commercial real estate career evolving?
Honestly, I love what I do. The chance to help people.
But you don't want to stay flat. Come on, man.
Oh, no. It's not about
types of buildings or types of deals, types of industries. Like, man, if I just found my way into
the beauty of what I do.
Marijuana, as an example.
There are people who specialize in that.
I've had guests on them. That's an amazing. You talk about complex.
I don't even want to speak on it. I don't know all the rules and hurdles that you have to do. There's a lot to it.
I wasn't suggesting that as a career path. I'd rather use that as an example of commercial real estate's so broad, and you get into something, you get good at it, and that usually brings exposure to some other interesting niche or vertical.
Well, and the beauty of what we get to do is working on deals which, no two properties are alike. Even from the day they're built, if you split off the ownership, they could look completely different in 5 or 10 years. So getting to bring the creative knowledge of real estate, the numbers and broader headwinds and tailwinds that are affecting the industry at any given time, and help one person with their building or buildings that they're holding for investment and say, this is what I think it's worth today. Keeping track of these factors going forward, just following on this operating plan, I think you can really increase the value over 3, 4, 5 years.
Sure.
That's what makes it fun. And there's no limit on who I can help. It's really just a matter of getting out there.
You mentioned fun. So you got a week off, you got a few extra shekels after closing a nice deal. What's a great way to spend that time? What brings you joy?
Going back to the office.
Oh my gracious!
Okay, all right. Look, I love technical hobbies, so it's playing piano, jiu-jitsu, and actually started learning how to fly a little bit just for the heck of it. So I think.
What kind of piano are you playing?
Mostly classical, working on Bach and a little bit of Chopin at the moment. So.
Interesting. That's complex. So you're just attracted to the complexity.
That's it. I'm a slave to the complexity.
So about a dozen years ago, I had a little part-time job. I was a business development consultant to Yamaha Marine.
Okay.
Yamaha makes pianos.
Yep.
Yamaha makes outboard motors. Yamaha makes surround sound systems.
I actually have a Yamaha piano, one of the little electrics.
Yes, guitars. Yamaha makes a lot of things. And we were sitting at a business development meeting at their headquarters up in Kennesaw. And I said, we need to really talk about branding. And the president of the company said, well, let's talk about it. I said, Yamaha. Sounds like fun. And he went, that's brilliant. And the director of marketing said, well, we'll have to do some research on that. Every product they make makes a sound. From a dirt bike to a piano, everything is associated with the sound of fun.
I think the dirt bike sounds a little more fun than the piano at first.
Well, there you go. But the idea. So what do you think of that marketing idea? Yamaha. Sounds like fun.
I like it.
There you go. I think everyone I've ever talked to about really like that quite a bit. How about travel? Where have you yet to go you'd like to go?
I think in the Southwest. There's a lot of cool state parks in the high desert and through California that I just haven't taken the time to go to. Those sound fun.
Good. Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Get you a Yamaha guitar and your portable piano, and off you go. I like that. What if you had to pick a city? You've been here a long time. You're a Florida kind of guy. Is there a city that attracts you that you said, I could really see me doing some incredible work, having some incredible fun in a city like?
Tampa. Denver. I mean, just outdoors, active cities. So I was recently in Tampa for sailing, and they've got just a huge number of people moving there, wanting to work.
Yeah.
And it's a cool place to be.
Yeah, easy to get in and out of too. Airport's a little more active than ours. The sailing. Tell me about the sailing. What were you sailing on?
J24s most recently.
There you go.
Fun. It's the fun physics. You get the teamwork, 4 or 5 people trying to work together and make fewer mistakes than the guys you're competing against.
Yeah. So racing as opposed to sailing, not just.
Yeah.
I was sailing last night, but it wasn't in a J24 and it wasn't competitive at all. Just floating along. So the J24, 24-foot sailboat, Mr. Johnson back in the 70s designed that beauty. Where does that fit in your sailboat hierarchy? Is that the top of your mix? Or have you?
It's certainly what I'm doing the most often right now. We've got great competitive leagues really across Florida. And so just part of the rum races on Wednesday nights, and you get the opportunity to go to regattas beyond that.
Yeah.
Just good fun.
Yeah. So how big or how grand have you taken your sailboat racing exploits?
The biggest boat I've ever been on is a Baltic 38, so there's plenty of room to grow, but it's just the fun.
Yeah. In 1977, Newport, Rhode Island, for the America's Cup.
Okay.
I got called an asshole by Ted Turner. I had a little tiny sunfish. I'm out sailing in Narragansett Bay, minding my own business. It's a very large body of water. And he and his entourage were, during the trials and prep for the America's Cup that particular year, I'm sailing along in an 11-foot sunfish, and at like 2 knots.
Yep.
Couple miles offshore.
I could see him having something much larger than a sunfish.
Well, at that time, the America's Cup boats were the classics. What do they call that one design? It'll come to me. But they're probably 70 or 80 feet long, sole-purpose boats. And anyway, he and the entourage are coming. I could see him coming over the horizon. Like they couldn't get it work around me. They weren't under sail. He was being towed back. And their whole entourage, they went on both sides of me. He looked over the side, the mouth of the south, called me an asshole. And it's been downhill with me and CNN ever since then.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Well, you have to find another viewing program, or maybe...
We need to get you especially niche, Will, in waterfront development. Mixed use, marina properties, get a hotel and get all that other jazz in there.
Oh, yeah, it's a fun place to be.
Okay.
So I saw your podcast with Tyler recently, and that one looked really fun. I mean, they're doing a great job of it themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, the waterfront's a place. The numbers just go crazy on the waterfront. Absolutely. There's things that don't make sense. You don't need 1 million square foot of warehouse.
Don't you, though? I mean...
Not a warehouse, not a warehouse. We've done enough waste of the waterfront in Jacksonville over the last 50 years. We need to break that trend and get the highest and best use out of the properties.
Well, I'm sure that there are great manufacturing uses around shipping, ports, logistics, bringing all those goods that we consume or export in and out. We need a safe harbor for that.
You made a good point, because I was really looking at the downtown. You were thinking more industrial.
The brightest starlit streets of downtown Jacksonville. And there's plenty of room to grow there, and I look forward to seeing it and enjoying it.
Yeah.
The meat of our economy here is going to be, I think, from industrial development.
Absolutely.
Hopefully manufacturing growth over the next couple of years. It's what brings not only steady, stable jobs, but also meaningful career growth for middle income professionals.
Yeah.
So it really improves the entire economy, and I think will help Jacksonville grow a lot over the next few years.
We just need to become the logistics hub of the entire southeast at a minimum, if not the whole East Coast. Between the interstate highway system, the rail system with CSX, and the port.
The river has now been deepened to 27 feet. So
47 feet.
47, sorry about that.
Well, you're in a J24. It doesn't matter. It doesn't go that far down.
2 of those on top, no, but that'll allow us to accommodate PostPanamax ships and bring in the most competitive freighters that are going to bring those goods into port. And realistically, we should see a lot of growth, I hope, in terms of jobs and industrial development from that.
I believe that as we embrace it. The challenge seems to be there's not enough people who appreciate and understand it and respect it to get the momentum that we tend to need. It frustrates me.
I don't know.
Short-sighted sometimes we are here.
People have to eat. People have to have a place to sleep. I mean, people interact with the real estate market whether they like it or not.
Yes.
So there will certainly be demand just due to population growth, and we're certainly seeing that here.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you feel the development of the shipyards and the Four Seasons and the other stuff that Mr. Khan and Iguana's doing? Do you see that we can leverage that for more manufacturing and industrial, just the fact that we've become a more vibrant city?
Yes and no. I mean, really, when you're making those decisions, it's always part of a multi-factor analysis. So what ultimately a large company elects to select a city on will be more than that. But it certainly helps with lifestyle factors, quality of life, and giving their employees something to really enjoy about where they live. Whether one project or another will directly translate into benefits elsewhere, I don't know.
Yeah, none of us know.
Yeah, they're all so unique. And
activity seems like a good thing in my mind, though. I like
Always.
Activity. Get activity.
Yeah.
You can't. You know this from your sailing time. You can't steer a stationary ship. It's got to be in motion. Yes,
I have
you
tried.
need to know where you are. You need to know your destination. But not much happens until you get underway.
Absolutely.
You get moving. You can tack along the way and avoid obstacles and get to the end destination. I think too often we sit in stagnation and don't get moving.
Well, don't tell my competitors this, but I always bring along a spare fan just in case and a backup battery. So we're never going to
keep it going.
Yeah, never run into doldrums anyway.
I like that. So what would a Dreamboat be? Looking out ahead, a couple of years, a couple good opportunities come your way, a little bit of opportunity money, discretionary money.
I like the J24s.
J24,
They're
okay.
easy. It's you got a lot of crew, a lot of people that like to do it. It keeps it fun and competitive.
Where's the local group? Rudder Club? Is that what
Rudder Club has one. Florida Yacht Club has a group there. I believe Epping has a small one there, and from there it really is regional competition. So you do have people in Melbourne, Tampa.
I didn't realize there were J24 pods at all three of those locations. That's pretty cool. Do they cooperate, or are they the Epping people don't talk to the Rudder Club people? How's that play out?
We'll see you at the regatta.
Yeah. Good. When you guys race in a local sense, is it right there by the Rudder Club, adjacent to the Buckman, or?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I do most of everything out of Florida Yacht Club. That's just where my Wednesday night groups are. It's pretty straightforward, casual. Go out, race a couple times, and then as bigger events come up, find a group to go with and try to win.
I like that. Have you done the mug race?
I don't think I have.
You don't think you have? Either you have or you haven't, fella. It's the race from. In fact, I believe it's the oldest freshwater sailing race, or the longest freshwater. It's the something est.
Okay, I'm going to go with
sailing race in either Florida or America. It's 60, 70 miles.
I did something recently in St Augustine, and then prior to that was the Midwinters in Tampa. So next year will be in Melbourne. Be a good time.
Yeah, I like that. The boat I have now, we bought in Melbourne, Satellite Beach, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, brought it up from there. 39-foot mainship trawler.
Those guys are lucky. They've got the intercoastal there with just constant sea breeze, so it's always windy, and the water is sometimes protected from a little too much in terms of waves and just general.
They can get a chop, though, quite a chop. You get a real short fetch, and especially in a J24, there's some pounding going on down there with just the right wind conditions.
Well, it's known as a crew beater in all weather, so.
So when you're racing a J24, you're a tactician, you're a helmsman, you're a foredeck guy?
I usually like doing bow. Simple, easy, you can get prepared and then just execute.
Just execute. Flying Spinnakers. Mm-hmm. You ever do Spinnaker sailing? Put a bosun's chair between the...
No, I mean, I've done trim before on that, but
not flying it, where you put a bosun's chair on the spinnaker. So you take the two ends of the bosun's chair, put them to the, whatever it's called, the foot in the clew or whatever, or maybe that's 2 feet on the spinnaker. Put it on each one, and you run the sheets, and you fly under the spinnaker while you're sitting in the bosun's chair and the boat's moving.
Never done that before. You've got two guys there that do keep it locked down, so you keep good sail shape. But
no, you do this for fun.
Oh,
maybe they don't do it on J24s. Maybe they're too small.
I don't think so.
I'd sailed 44-foot yawls when I was in Naval Academy.
Okay.
You can fly the spinnaker. You can actually raise a body. So the boat's moving through the water. You're moving downwind. You lash the bosun's chair, while it's flying, and off you go. And you're actually seated, flying ahead of the boat.
Oh, no, not big enough. I don't think. Don't usually get to sit when I'm up and about.
So for folks who'd like to have a conversation with you, whether it's about racing J24s, flying spinnakers, commercial, industrial, real estate, what's the simplest way to get you? Head to the website. Where do I send folks?
The easiest way to find me is on LinkedIn. Feel free to reach out. And again, if you're looking for listings, you can find not only listings there, but also reach out to me at marksandmilichap.com. Happy to add you to distribution lists and make sure you guys know what's going on for the areas that you focus on.
That is excellent. I want to thank you, Will, for being with us. You're welcome here anytime on Commercial Real Estate Today. Beautiful day.
All right.